Good evening, folks, and welcome to Dice&Decks presents RWBY Session 0, where we'll be doing world building, character creation, some rules discussion, and just planning for the next session, which at this point should be within a month. We'll get started talking about the weapons that the players are going to be using. We have Dan, Joe, and Josh, as well as Owen. That'll be in one of the groups. And with that, I'll pass it over to Dan. And Dan, you can describe what your weapon is that you'll be using.
What are you going for here?
Just kind of describe what two weapons you're combining, your melee weapon and your ranged weapon.
It's a great sword, kind of like the Buster Sword, that turns into a lever action shotgun.
Alright. And for your character that'll be wielding that, are you male or female?
I am male.
Okay. And have you decided on your character name?
Yes, I have.
Okay, and what is that?
It is Blaine Allister.
And you want to post it over in chat? And then if that's everything you wanted to talk about for now, we'll go over to Joe and have him do the same.
Great.
I will be using a combination flail that then retracts and reforms into a grenade launcher. And it's a single shot grenade launcher, so the first shot is with the flail head, actually. But I will have select grenades in a backpack that I can then toss into it to get different effects, whether it be ice, fire, acid, blah, blah, blah. Just to give me a little bit of variety depending on what we're facing. So that's the weapon combination that I have. My character's name is going to be Tack Monroe. He is going to be your typical anime, like stylish hair, probably green. He's going to have the, who is it? John Lennon glasses.
Nice. Nice. Is he a hipster?
Yeah. He's gonna have sort of that free spirited feel to him, I guess. But I want to have I don't know what sort of other technology it's gonna have, but it'd be sweet if the Lennon glasses had like a little targeting sight on them or something, like a readout, like kind of like a HUD display.
That may indeed be possible. We'll discuss that.
Are you talking like a range display for like the grenade launcher?
Yeah, essentially. Like, it may even, it'd be awesome, actually, if it could project an estimated blast radius as well. Like, it feeds into the weapon and kind of knows what you're going to be firing, whether it's like a frag or an incendiary type grenade or something like that.
Will it also show power level in case you meet anyone whose power is over 9,000?
It's over 9,000!
That'd be nice if it did. No, I mean, I don't know what sort of limitations it would have, but, I mean, just be cool to have, like, a little HUD display.
Okay, we'll see what we can come up with. And then Oscar, I know that you kind of just jumped into this here, getting your feet wet, but
Yep.
Where are you at with everything? Do you know what weapon you're going to be using?
Just kind of going by what everyone else is talking about. I want to play a long-distance sniper, so I'm going to have a medieval crossbow type, well, modern-ish crossbow type thing that telescopes and changes into a sniper rifle with a tripod. Well, it would be a bipod because there's not a third leg, but yeah, a bipod in the front. And I will be playing Sugu Ichitormi. I wrote it, and it was in my head. I could say it then, but actually saying it's Ichitormi. Ichitormi.
So, Shugi Ichitormi, trained combat assassin?
Yes.
And you're going to be long range?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
And I'm thinking of wearing a pedo bear like hat with like little eyes on them, just because anime characters have really strange things about them.
Some attire choices, right?
Yeah. Just why does he wear this?
Okay. And Owen's preoccupied at the moment, so we can come back to him later if we decide to do that. But beyond that, let's go ahead and just start with what questions do you guys have, or we can start creating the world and then come up with questions.
Seeing as how we're all going to describe, everybody decided to describe what their character looks like. My character is going to be a mashup between a biker and a cowboy, actually. So just to clarify here. So how are we going to work these spells?
How are we going to work these spells, huh?
Yep.
Let's save the mechanic part of it, I think, for last, because I kind of want to do the world building, character building, and then mechanic stuff. I think that makes more sense.
Okay.
You guys familiar with the world of Remnant at all? Did you guys see the pictures I put up? I know that you probably didn't, Josh, but I'll show them here in a moment.
I have seen the whole thing, so yes, I'm good.
Okay. Josh, I'm going to post the link. Or actually, Dan, if you don't mind, can you post the link from the event page in the chat?
Yeah, just give me a second.
Okay, cool. Basically, to kind of bring you up to speed, Josh, what RWBY is it's a world where there's only 4 cities left, basically. The cities are on different continents for the most part, and each city has this, I don't want to say academy, but they do call it an academy. It's more of a training center, I would say, that happens to bring like anyone from the age of 12 to 18 up to speed on the reality of the world they live in, because they're kind of sheltered in these 4 cities that remain, and that's why it's called remnants. Basically, they're the leftovers of the previous society, and there's some really messed up stuff that goes on. The biggest thing is they fight. They fight basically dark creatures or corrupted creatures. And for whatever reason, the name of the creatures escapes me, but I think Dan will be able to say what it is, or maybe even Joe, because they watched it more recently.
I wasn't paying all that much attention to it. But
Give me a second.
I was just watching it to get an overview.
Yeah, that's fine. I know you said you're not a huge fan of anime.
Grimm's.
Grim, and it has an extra M, right? GR.
Yeah, it would be like the Brothers Grimm, basically.
Yeah. So they fight the Grim, and the Grim I think it's like a template more than anything, because there's a bunch of different sizes and shapes of Grim. There's no real consistency to them. And the Grim are currently.
It's
The
kind
Grim-
of.
Go ahead.
It's more like a racial name for them, I would say, because like, a human, you can't really, classify, as a single thing. Yeah, I mean, it just, yeah, it's a racial kind of thing, I would say, probably.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure how to describe it. It's monsters is probably just as good as anything. It's just their term for monsters. But they all do have one trait in common. Their eyes are all red, and then when they die, their eyes stop being red.
Do they fade out, or do they?
The eyes fade. The creatures themselves. Go ahead, Dan.
If I remember correctly, the creatures themselves actually disappear too.
Yeah, I don't think it happens instantaneously, or at least not for the larger ones. They start to break down. It's almost like a pixelation effect when you're doing like a slideshow. You know how they slowly break into smaller squares and disappear? Yeah, same kind of thing. So as far as the world building part of it, what I'm thinking is that there's a fifth island or fifth academy that isn't one of the four in the show, and they're not aware. They're not even aware that this fifth academy exists. If you guys would like, it can be part of a city or not. But what are your guys' thoughts on a fifth academy existing?
Well, just looking at the map here, either of these two islands that don't have an academy would work. Did want to do a fifth academy, that'd be cool. It works for me, I guess. Yeah.
Is everyone looking at the map right now?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, there's definitely islands that don't have an academy.
You could have an undiscovered island as well.
I like the one that sort of looks like a dragon with his wings out.
That's actually the one I was looking at too.
Yeah, they actually intentionally put that on there to make it look like the dragon. And then I think there's another one that's supposed to be shaped like something, but I don't remember what it was. Maybe a crab or an octopus or something.
The one in the bottom right there looks like it's like a fish.
That could be. So you guys think on the Dragon Island, that's where you guys would want to have another academy?
Wherever, it don't matter.
Your world. I just live in it.
Well, we're going to create the rest of it together. So, yes, it's going to be posting online. Why do you ask, Joe? Oh, okay. How much longer do you have?
Maybe another 5-10 minutes. We'll see though.
Okay. Well, we could just keep the session really short and try to do it another night.
No, you guys flesh it out. What I'll do is if you guys are posting it, I'll review it and watch it then and just say, okay, that's cool. So I have an idea what you guys come up with. I'm totally okay with you guys making it up. It'll be awesome.
Okay. Do you have any input on like spells or rulings or anything like that?
If the only thing that I would say as far as spells from what I saw in just a couple episodes, it seems like the spells are more elemental. I don't know if there's a divine source, and I guess I'd be okay with nixing that and just make it all elemental based, like the 4 elements and that kind of thing. Especially when you're dealing with weapons that are very physical. If you start adding divine stuff into it, it makes it kind of weird.
Yeah, the divine stuff I think comes more from any of the auras that they would put around them, not necessarily weapon damage. Because I think generically how they would handle the undead is with fire, quite frankly.
Yeah.
So we can definitely talk about that more. Anything else?
I know you're talking about using 5th edition. And I mean, the rule set I'm not as familiar with, but it seems like it's pretty straightforward. I mean, how are we gonna do stuff like? Are we gonna actually follow like the feats and talents and stuff that they have in 5th edition and just kind of put it in this world, or?
Yeah, my initial thoughts are, the basic feats, almost like how they have in I know you're more familiar with 3.5, so I'll say something from there. The 3.5 like general feats. They have them categorized in 50 too, but we can talk about that outside of it too if we need to.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the idea right now, and we'll see what gets fleshed out if that comes up or not.
And is it going to be more like, I don't know, I don't want to say, you're not gonna have like teleport and transmit type things. It's not gonna be that quite science fiction-y, right?
No, it's just as RWBY is. I mean, they have launch pads that you step on and get launched to different areas, and you have to tumble basically. So athletics will probably be an important skill in 5e.
Is that, I guess, are there going to be some skills that'll be diminished then, do you think?
I don't think so, but we'll figure out the basis of it. I I looked at them, and I think all of them can be used. I just think that like athletics is one that'll probably be more focused on, because they do a lot of athletic type stuff in the show.
Yeah.
So
Is that
maybe I'll give everyone a few starting points for that too. Like if you use it that way.
Yeah,
So.
I was actually just gonna say that. Could you just bump up everybody's athletics a little bit?
Yeah, the way 55e works is you don't actually have all the stuff, but we'll discuss that. Right now, we're not actually building the characters; we're just kind of talking about it. So.
Okay. Give me like 5 minutes. I'm gonna take my headphones off for just a minute.
Okay.
I might be back. Yeah.
Oh, all right.
How? I mean, are we planning on doing this like RWBY up to basically the tournament at the end of the year thing, or what?
We're not doing anything as it relates specifically to the RWBY anime. We might be starting at a point within the timeline, but not on the same continent. So like you wouldn't see those events. But as far as is it necessary to be part of that or have a fitting in that? I guess I'll kind of let you guys decide that. So since you're the only one left in the call who's watched it, is that something you would want? Is it to be during that timeline, before that timeline, after that timeline?
Yeah, honestly, I was thinking we were gonna kind of do it our own separate, kind of timeline thing.
Yeah, and
Okay.
it can be totally unrelated, but it would still be, before, during, or after it. I'm thinking after makes the most sense.
Yeah, maybe. What I was really getting at was the thought process behind this basically to do a couple of the shins or whatever, and then do the end of the year tournament or whatever it was in the show, like character versus character kind of thing.
We can do that. I think initially my idea was to just figure out who's going to work well together in a team. And the first, if like you three, you don't have any real similarities, so there won't be any overlap. So you guys could be a team of three for right now until we find a fourth person. And if need be, I can always play one. But I want to say Ty wants to play in the first group as well. He just can't be in this tonight.
And then are we still going with the instructor slash trainee? So.
Yep, one of you guys would either be the instructor, or I would play that character, and the rest of you would be trainees. That's up to you.
Okay. I'm still 50-50 on it. I'm like, based off of what I've seen of the trainers, thing, I kind of want to do, but at the same time, I'm like, maybe not. Might be more fun doing the trainee thing.
Yeah, trainee has a few more options in that regard, I think. Where trainer, I think, would have to be from one of the other academies, or at least aware of them. So, did you decide where you wanted to be from, Dan?
I believe I was going to go with, it was either Atlas or Vale. I couldn't remember which one it was, but now that I'm looking at it, I believe it was Atlas.
Okay, so you're thinking you'd be from the tech city?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good to me. Just looking at the map, Oscar, do you know which continent, or rather, school you wanted to be from initially?
Not really. Not really a lot to the maps except for names. So go for wherever they train snipers or.
You got a D4 handy?
Oh, well, it's actually kind of a...
What, Dan?
Well, I was going to say all the schools actually teach the same basic
Gotcha.
principles. So it's basically pick at random if you want.
I see.
Or whichever name you think sounds the coolest. They do have certain things that are specific to the schools, but they haven't really fleshed that out too much in the show. So there's Vacuo, Veil, Mistral, and Atlas.
Probably Vacuo.
Okay. Alright, so if you guys don't already have like a little notepad opened or something, just write down your choices for your weapon, your character name, your abilities, and then where you're from.
Yeah.
And then you can fill it into a 5e character sheet, or you can just wait and see if you can find one that's, I don't want to say generic, but a little more generic, because not everything's going to be applicable from 5e. So while you guys are doing that, I'm going to give you a question to think about. Beyond the monsters or Grim that you're already aware of, I'd like to create a few. Dan, are you
I
what?
He's
Dan?
there right now? He's not there.
Yeah, I know, right?
what?
Are you ready to create a character or no? Or not a character, a monster type?
Well, I was just asking, were you saying a Grim or a different type of monster?
Well, no, they're all Grim, just a different type of monster.
Okay, so a type of Grim that would be. Let me look at the list here and see what's already.
Yeah.
I posted a link here in case let's look at it as well. So
There's the Beowulfs, which are the wolf creatures, so like werewolves. There's the Ursi, which are the bear people. There's the Nevermore, which is the giant ravens.
there's Ursa Nevermore, King Taijitu, which is a giant two-headed snake.
Yep. There's the Deathstalker, which is the scorpion.
Yeah, the Goliaths, which are mammoth, basically.
Yep. They're like a woolly mammoth.
Creepers, which are the. Hang on, I can look at it real quick. Oh, what was it? Lizards, I guess, maybe?
There's a Borbatusk.
And the Beowulfs.
Don't forget about Borbatusks.
Oh, you already said, that's why I said, and the Beowulfs.
Oh, okay.
I guess.
Like, pick a favorite monster from D&D, and then we can make it a Grim. They get some kind of crazy abilities too as Grim, like the Nevermore with the fact that it can shoot the feathers from its wings as like giant spears. That's pretty cool. Josh, do you have a monster from D&D that you'd want to bring in?
Well, I've always been partial to the Sturges. Or the Strix, depending on how you pronounce them.
I don't know if I've heard you correctly. Can you type it in the chat?
Can.
The Strix. I muted you, Oscar. I'm sorry.
Yes, you did. Yeah, the Strix, the bloodsuckers, the giant skeeters.
Okay, I just looked at a picture of the Strix. I don't know if I have the right picture though. Let me see. Do they fly, right?
Yes.
Okay, I think I've got a Strix
They
here. One
fly
second.
and they kind of latch on. They've got funny looking like little hooks on their claws, and they latch on and they jam their proboscis into people and they suck on them like giant mosquitoes.
Like what I just posted in chat there.
Um, open sesame. No, that's not a Strix. That is a, I'm gonna say harpy. Let me see if I can find you a picture of a Strix.
Let's try that one instead. See if that's better. I posted another one. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that'll work. That's a Strix.
Cool. Yeah, for whatever reason, whenever I think of Strix, I think of Baleful Strix from Magic the Gathering, and it's like an owl.
Or
like,
any of the Strixes from Magic.
right.
They have other ones other than Baleful, but yeah, they're all owls.
Yeah, I think Baleful Strix is like the most popular one for Strixes. I'm not sure though. But anyhow, we can add that. That's easy enough to do. So like a giant corrupted mosquito that's
Yes.
gonna eat your face.
Yep.
I'm good
Suck
with
out your
that.
stomach.
Dan, did you think of a monster now?
Actually, I'm noticing that there's um land and air mostly for Grims. So actually, I'm gonna take it to the water.
Oh snap! What are you thinking?
Something like either like a giant squid or a kraken.
Giant squid or a kraken, huh?
Yeah, you know, I mean, it doesn't specifically have to be a kraken, obviously, because But I mean, if you want to go kraken, sure. But I'm
What
thinking,
about
we need something that lives in, hangs out in the water. I mean,
what about a creature that can walk up onto land from the water? Like not very far, but just walk up from the water, like an amphibian, semi-amphibious creature.
it would work for me. I mean, something that if we're by water, it could fuck us up.
Yeah, just because I don't know how many water things we're going to be doing or not. Obviously, it makes sense that there'd be danger in the water too, and we can certainly add more stuff. But I think for sure I'd want to have something that, if it needs to, like if you're by a lake or an ocean, it might just pop out and molest you.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. It's just everything seems to be land or air based. I was like, we need something that can be in the water too, in case
So what about a giant squid mixed with a turtle,
works for me.
and it can like pull you? It can stand in the water and pull you back, and it's like super heavy. So if it grabs onto you, you're pretty much effed, unless they cut off the tentacles, almost like a Lord of the Rings type thing.
Yeah, that works.
Sweet. We will now have a. I think that kind of thing exists. It has a shell on the back. I can't think of the name, but anywho, a Squirtle, a Squid Turtle. Oh boy. Nice. Okay, so we've got that.
I see a chest.
What happened?
Owen was like dancing in front of his computer before he shut off his his image.
I know, right? Woohoo! So I think I will contribute a very dangerous air creature because there is the Nevermore, but I don't think there's others. Are there? I don't think any other creatures were air based, were they, Dan?
Other than the Nevermore?
Yeah.
I mean, now that he's got the
Strix.
Strix kind of thing, yeah, you got an extra one. But yeah, I mean, air was limited. It was mostly land.
But the Strix looks like it can walk on the ground too, right?
Sort of.
Okay. Or at least like cling on to things near the surface.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about a creature that'd be like super high up in the air normally, and you'd almost never see.
I posted one too in chat.
Shitthurdle.
I am bringing in the dragon. I'm gonna bring in a Dragon Grim. I think what I'm gonna do with it though is I think I'm gonna treat it almost like a kaiju, and have it prefer to be bipedal when it's on the ground. So like it'll land on all fours and it'll take a few steps, but if it's gonna get into combat, it'll actually stand up on two legs, and it's able to use the upper arms almost as humans do.
Are you going to restrict that elementally?
You mean like they can only have one element? So like there's a fire dragon grim, frost dragon grim, that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Okay. I was gonna say because Sunday's thing, you know.
You enjoyed that? Is that what you're saying?
The aquatic dragon that is not aquatic apparently.
It was too aquatic. Why do you think it's like crushed the whole room?
Yeah, but at the same time, it's aquatic. So it should technically be weak to something, you know.
Oh, I understand what you're complaining about. Its non-weakness to lightning.
Yes, while it's flooding a room.
Hey, it actually only finished that at the end of the session.
That is true. And it may die by a huge lightning shock.
All right. Give me just a moment, because I am looking for a picture of the dragon I plan on bringing in. Hold on.
You also got to remember that if we have any casters, they're going to be limited on elements to basically the four main elements: fire, air, water, earth. So don't be going too crazy on this dragon thing, you know. Also, are we doing an alignment system in this? I mean,
I would say
have you really hashed that out? I mean,
not really hard line it, but it should be like have it. Don't make it a major hard line because it'll change as you get into your character and stuff.
oh, they're cute. We can have those.
Yeah, they're super tiny.
Wait, what?
What do you think of that?
I was making a joke about the little ones. He's apparently mean the huge mother.
Oh yeah, I do mean the huge mother. Obviously not all that size or anywhere near that size probably, but that's what I'm thinking when I think of bipedal dragons. Just to give you an idea. So what they would be is they'd probably be like, 30 feet tall, maybe a little less than that. What's up, Paul? And the grim corruption going on with them, and their armor would be natural armor still, and that works really well against the type of weapons that you guys would have. So they're still going to be difficult to bring down even with your futuristic weapons.
Can my sword have Dragonbane?
Nothing will have anything at the start, but if that's a goal you'd like to have, once you know that dragons exist in the world anyways, you may do that. Because by default, they keep to themselves, and yeah. There used to be a lot more, but something happened during the Remnant War that destroyed them.
Okay.
And now, of course, the ones that are left really don't want to die, so they're just getting larger. And when they get large enough, they feel like they can just wipe out an entire city on their own. That's when they'll probably come down and try to F with people.
That's extremely contradictory to the storyline, though.
Yeah, in terms of the legendary ones, there'll be a few smaller ones. But
Well, no, I'm saying by the fact that if you follow the storyline, the bigger it is, the less likely it is to attack.
yeah, what I'm saying is because in the story they haven't gotten to the part where why they're wasting time getting larger. Just because something hasn't attacked doesn't mean it doesn't want to. Maybe it's just not stupid and realizes it's not big and powerful enough yet to to do what it needs to do or to do what it wants to do. That's my thought. But obviously we can't say for sure because they're not far enough along in the story. Does that make sense?
I actually thought they kind of outlined it good. I mean, it's so big and powerful that it knows that it can destroy stuff, but it chooses not to because it doesn't want to be attacked by, hundreds of hunters.
Right, exactly. Meaning that it does want to attack, but it isn't ready to yet because they're waiting for something else.
So
They're
it
waiting
sends
for a
legions
chance.
of others.
What was that?
So it sends legions of other Grims.
I honestly think so. Like, I think the bigger you are as a Grim, I think the more control you have over the lesser Grim. Either that, or the higher your intelligence score, so to speak, and the more likely you are to have others do things to make it so that you have an opportunity to do what it is that you want to do. I can't say for sure though because obviously I didn't write it or anything, but that's my observation.
That's a tough call there. I mean, it seemed like they were all, in the like even in the train tunnel, they were all kind of, as a group, but at the same time, it seemed like they were just, all for one, they're going to attack regardless by themselves, even if they're not.
Yeah, but again, those were all the smaller ones. Like, there weren't any large ones involved in that, really.
Well, there were a couple of the Nevermores and the King Tahiti's and the Deathstalkers.
Yeah, but I think like by by comparison to how big things could be, with the exception of the Nevermore, like the Nevermore is obviously a very large bird, but I don't know. I think it could go either way. Season 3 comes out in like 40 days or something like that, so that's exciting.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. That might lay it out for us better too.
Yeah, and we're not playing in exactly that world, obviously, but it's heavily influenced by that. So just to kind of bring you up to speed, Paul, what we're doing is, if you haven't pieced it together, is we're doing a session 0, fleshing out a world loosely based on the anime RWBY, and we're doing character creation, discussing some rules and that kind of thing, as well as what they want to. I don't want to say be able to do, but like what makes sense to do and that kind of thing. And we are probably a little over halfway through, maybe 2/3. We'll see. Oscar, did you have anything?
No, not really. Just kind of absorbing right now.
Okay. And then as far as the actual rules part of it, we're using 5e as a starting point, and we're going to be modifying it because it's well built to do that. I don't think we'll have to get too far away from the fantasy elements. Even though there are guns and that kind of thing in RWBY, because it seems like a lot of the creatures are going to be fairly difficult, so it'll probably just be an increase in dice, for damage. I'm not entirely sure what they'll want to do, but that's probably the easiest way to do it.
The major thing is that the anime probably doesn't have class systems. It doesn't have like, I've trained to be a fighter or I've trained to be an ranger or something like that. No, it's going to be something more generic-y.
Well,
it's more of a role than an actual class. Yeah.
The breakdown is basically you're either
ranged, melee, caster, or tank.
Mm-hmm.
Or yeah, basically, yeah. I mean, I guess I would consider Blair, is that her name? I think so. Kind of a support class in a way, but I guess, yeah.
Yeah, the support class varies quite a bit. I mean, it could be something where it is more focused on, like a medic style or healer style, all the way to, a secondary tank, or even just another of the other people in the group who just uses a different weapon or damage type. To speak of it in terms of D&D.
Yeah, I mean, the way it breaks down is it seems to me that RWBY is the, I guess, fighter class. Her sister is more like a paladin, in my opinion. Blair's kind of like a supporter, and then Whitney, I think her name is Whitney, is the cast, is like a mage, basically.
So as far as the rules go for it, I don't think there needs to be too much change to 5e for it. And obviously, Paul, feel free to, throw any ideas out that you have on it. I don't know if you've done anything with explosive type weaponry or modern weaponry as far as like the damage ideals.
I'm going in the opposite direction. So I'm going prehistoric, or I'm focusing on Stone Age style weaponry and Wands is it's not fully very popular, but it still exists. So I'm going in that direction, not really going for guns or well, explosives can be being used, but they're not common.
Sure. Do you have any idea on what I should use for a damage amount for, say, a pistol or a shotgun?
Well, that's heavily dependent on the kind of experience you want to create and the point of balance you want to use. I know to do what I want to do in terms of setting the game up. I have a 49-page and growing group of house rules settings. Going to work on a class eventually, but that's the level of work I'm choosing to put into it. So you have to decide how challenging you want it to be and what your design methodology in terms of at the table, how you want to run things, what that will be like.
Yeah, my initial thought is just to keep it 5e and modify the damage output based on the weapon, and then the hit points of the monsters based on how difficult they're supposed to be. Because obviously they're not going to be just a rehash of the monster manual. They're actually grim, as in the anime, and filling it in from there. So I'll probably base it loosely on a single monster, but it's not going to be like, oh, if I turn to that page, I know exactly what this monster can do. Hey, Joe.
So,
Yeah, you no.
So,
Go ahead, Dan.
so I know. Backing up for a second, I'm going to repost this link for Joe. I know you asked about a monster that we would be interested in. Here's a link, Joe, of the monsters that are already there. What we've discussed so far is a Strix.
Actually, Dan, I think you posted the wrong link.
Well, I did. I didn't copy this one. So give me a second here. But that's basically what the monster that I was thinking was going to be. Not copying the link here. No. There you are. Okay. There. This is the second link that I posted. There is the link. This is the basic setup of the monsters. I discussed a squid-like creature for water, and Brennan came up with a amphibious-like squid that's like a turtle as well. To make that, Brennan also did a dragon-like Grim, and Oscar came up with a Strix-like Grim. So, adding your monster in, what would you think?
are we talking like just a boss monster kind of thing that we need to kill?
Nope, this is just any type of monster. So like a common monster. So they have for werewolves they have Beowulfs. For ravens or birds they have the Nevermore. They also have the Boratusks. Which are like, go ahead.
How about something like the creatures from Where the Wild Things Are?
So, like a big bear-looking thing?
Yeah, like a big bearish thing with horns.
Like the Ursa?
Yeah, that's kind of what the Ursa actually is.
I don't know what that is, but sure.
It's alright, it's on that link, Ursa.
Okay.
But anywho, anything else you'd want to add? Because we should definitely get a creature from everybody.
I mean,
what we did is we just picked our favorite D&D monster and brought it in.
Oh, well, if that's the case, let's throw some goblins in there. Ha! Not.
Nah.
No, I think the creatures from Where the Wild Things Are kind of cool.
Are they different from the Ursa though? I don't know.
I can't find a picture.
It could be like a cross between the Ursa and the Borbatusk, I guess.
Well, to me, the Ursa looks like it's got like rocks and stuff on it.
Yeah, it's like a rock corrupted bear or some or rock enhanced bear.
Well, and where the wild things are, creatures are more like
Post
a.
post a picture of what you're thinking. I don't know if I'm thinking of the right things.
Hang on.
Paul, you said rot grubs could be neat. You talking like just the actual rot grub, or is that from a specific game?
Well, I'm sorry. I'm answering based off the pretense that you set up. So you said D&D monsters, so that's what I'm replying with.
Okay.
So perhaps D&D.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure. I mean, I did put that, but real life stuff is cool too.
There's a. I posted a picture or a link to a picture. If you look at that picture, like the creature that the boy is riding on is kind of more what I'm thinking.
Bison, like bison headed.
Yeah, like a bison would be, I guess, the closest thing to what I could. Yeah. A bipedal, like, bison creature.
I want to fight animated statues.
So a minotaur.
Yes, that would probably be closest, actually.
So we could bring in the D&D Minotaur and turn him into a Grim. I'm good with that.
The where the wild things are minotaurs would be more pudgy and less ripped than regular minotaurs, but
It could be.
I like the rot grub. That's gonna be funny. It's just such a small, unassuming creature.
The duck bunny.
A what?
The duck bunny.
Oh my goodness. So I think that's pretty good for monster contribution for right now. How about environments? Because we don't know a lot about the world of RWBY, except for that there's forests and ruined areas and cities, a couple of them. Any type of environment you want to make sure that we have, or that you guys would like to play in?
Uh,
Or setting, or any whatever term you want to apply to it.
I guess, I mean, I know there's, like, regular forest and stuff. I think, like, a jungle would be kind of cool.
The jungle.
Yeah, and throw in some, like, evil monkey grims and stuff,
Okay, I've got jungle down. Joe, do you have an environment, or Oscar?
Not really.
I mean, to basically lay it out for you guys, there's, like, ruined cities, like an underground thing would be cool too, Brendan, actually.
how about like a lava flow, like Hawaii type thing, where there's active. It's not like a volcano, but there's active like lava traps and stuff and things like that.
Like that under school cave system that they fell into, kind of cool too.
For some reason, that's not working for me, Paul.
It's a
Yeah, that
Google
might be.
Docs PDF.
Yeah, Joe's idea is cool too. Like maybe an underground like lava like area would work probably, Joe.
Yeah, that could work too. I like the surface lava idea like in Hawaii, where you get the cross between steam, cooled lava, violent lava, that kind of stuff. It just adds a bit more dimension to it, but underground's fine too. You can still do
But a
some other stuff.
crystal cavern.
A crystal cavern?
Big old, like, quartz sticking out and jutting up.
Owen will like that. He'll probably try to shatter it with his force whip. I tried to click on it. You might need to give me permission, Hollow.
I did it.
It'll
Just
be
open.
What was that? It opened for you?
Yeah, me. Just a
Alright.
PDF. It's like a Google Docs PDF.
You must have like the right program for it or something. Hold on.
Well, no, you could probably just download it anyway, and it probably work perfectly.
It took a while for it to load, but it did eventually just load.
Yeah, if you download it, Brendan, it'll work perfectly.
Alright. I'm almost done downloading. Woohoo!
I also have Adobe Acrobat built into my Chrome, so it opens shit like that.
Yeah, I do too, but it didn't open it right away. But as soon as I clicked download it, it was fine.
Mm-hmm.
The download button wasn't working for me initially. That was my problem. Oh, sweet. Thanks, Paul. This will be really useful. I'm going to have to look at that later now. Thanks a lot. Alright, so it's 10 o'clock. What other questions do you guys still have? I mean, we don't have everything fully fleshed out, but I think we have a lot of stuff going for it. I suppose you guys want to know how to build your character?
Sure.
Dan, do you remember what I said for that? Was it between 1 and 4?
For
level?
I actually don't think you specify. This is probably something that you just came up with, though.
No, I think I said 1 if you want to be a trainee and 4 if you want to be, at least 4 if you want to be a teacher.
Yeah, it was. You're as a teacher, you're hired for like 3 or so levels higher. Yeah.
Okay, so do you guys want to start at level 1 or do you want to start at level 3? Basically, wherever you guys choose to start. I think we'll try Theater of the Mind for the first session, just using nothing. And then if that doesn't work so well, or if we run into too many questions, I might bring up Roll20 just for the purposes of like drawing something. But I don't know. I kind of want to do completely the opposite of what we're doing with Revolution.
Yeah.
As little tech as possible.
This is since this is gonna be a one shot as a level 1 fight. I mean, especially if we're gonna run into something like a dragon eventually. I mean, that's gonna be hard.
It's not going to be a one shot. It's going to be a recurring week-to-week thing. I mean, your characters might come and go like in a one shot, but we're going to do it. Well, I shouldn't say week-to-week. It's going to be however often we decided to play it. But there's going to be multiple groups of 4 out in the world in between your session. Does that make sense?
Well, I suppose if that's the case, where we're going to be able to reutilize these characters more than 1 or 2 sessions, then yeah, I can start.
Sorry.
But then again, I'm still 50-50 on if I want to be a teacher or not.
Well, that's something you guys can decide on. But I do need to know if you want to be a trainee, would you want to start at level 1, level 2, or level 3? And then if you want to be a teacher, do you want to start at level 4, level 5, or level 6? Essentially, if you guys choose level 3 for the students, the teachers will be level 6.
I don't know. Put it to somebody else. I'm good anyway.
Joe?
I guess I don't know what the difference is between a teacher and the other stuff that you were saying.
A student.
Yeah, like why? I mean, are you having separate levels then for that kind of thing, or?
Well, there's going to be one teacher per group, so you guys will need to decide within your group who the teacher is. But the biggest deal is going to be the teacher isn't necessarily any better or has access to other things. They're just a higher level.
Gotcha.
Basically, if you look at it from the show's aspect, the teachers were fully trained, basically, whereas the trainees obviously were learning all that stuff. I almost feel like there should actually be like 5-level difference between them because of that, but it's Brennan's decision to do 3.
Well, no, I just said at least 3. I mean, we can do as many as you guys want, but I want it to be where the teacher isn't the one killing everything.
Yeah.
Well, I was just thinking for that aspect that if it came down to it where, the group was, you, me, Joe, and Oscar here, and the 3 of you were trainees and I was the huntsman, and you guys were fighting, like a Borberg Tusk, a Deathstalker, a Goliath, a King Taijitu, and an Evermore all at once for some reason. And you guys are going to get your butts kicked doing that. Something where the teacher would, step up and be like, yeah, I'm going to lay down the smackdown on like 3 of these monsters,
Gotcha. So you're thinking 3 to 5 is a good range, leaning more towards the 5 side?
Yeah, just because of the fact that if we do run into a larger monster early, especially, the teacher, the way those missions worked was, the way it was supposed to work was the teacher was supposed to handle most of that stuff, but in the show it showed the group of girls doing it. Other huntsmen probably would have handled that situation themselves, while teaching them, the correct methods. So
Gotcha.
I think 5 would probably be, maybe even 4 or 5 for sure, for the level difference there.
Oscar, you said you want to be a trainee?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Are you thinking level 1, 2, or 3? You can pick for yourself. It doesn't have to be the same as everyone else.
Yeah. Well, since I'm so new to it, I'll probably start at level 1. Work my way up.
Okay. Sounds good to me. So, pick the class that you think fits the idea for your character in your head the best from 5th edition's character list, or class list rather. Excuse me. And that'll be your first level. If you pick a divine class, you can write everything down for the divine things. We'll just talk about what you can use and can't use, because it'll be better to handle it on an individual basis than try to do everything at once, since there's so much.
I was thinking Ranger.
Thinking nature?
Ranger.
Oh, Ranger. Okay, cool. That works. I mean, especially for what you're wanting to play.
And then maybe, like, if possible, mix in Rogue just for the increased damage per round.
Yeah, I mean, what we can do, if you're okay with it, we can ditch your animal companion that you'd probably get.
I want to go the other build, the Hunter.
Okay, cool. So then, yeah, I can totally see giving you the some of the rogue stuff too. That's fine.
Okay.
Unless you just want to do level 2 and do 1 level of ranger, 1 level of rogue.
Well, let's see. I want to get up to at least level 3 in Ranger. Get that that neat Colossus Slayer ability, and then start pouring in more Rogue for increased damage and stuff.
Okay. And Joe?
I was thinking if I could have a little bit, and I don't see it here in the core classes, but I thought Alchemist was a 5th edition, or is that not true?
That's a Pathfinder.
Well, I thought there was one in 5th edition as well. I don't know.
Have you
There's
looked at the variants or the
No.
backgrounds?
I really like the I really like the idea of warlocks, but they're a caster. I'm trying to think of what class would have a flail as a weapon.
Hang on, Joe.
And they're just straight up fighter, I guess, but
I was just gonna say fighter, cleric.
I don't want to play another cleric.
I posted a link there for you, Joe.
Because what I was thinking was that if I could have somebody who could make his own grenades, sort of like an alchemist making their flasks and stuff.
Sure. I can give you a level of alchemist, so you can do that.
I did post a link there, Joe, if you want to look at it.
I brought it up. But that's the only reason I don't know if it has to necessarily be a class, but that's the idea. So because I want to be able to have different types of grenades, and the idea of an alchemist making their own shit like that is kind of just what I was thinking.
It looks like it took the Pathfinder Alchemist and turned it into a 5th edition class. Interesting.
That was my thoughts as well.
Yeah, I mean, if we wanted to use what Dan posted, that's fine. If we wanted to come up with something else, that's fine. But
No, I'd rather not do any extra work, so that's perfect.
Okay. Sounds good to me. Intelligence and dexterity actually works really well for
the only other question we have to answer then is, out of Dan and Joe, or myself, I guess, who wants to be the teacher?
Dan says he's gonna be right back. Dan knows more about the world than I do. So it would make more sense to have him do it, but
Well, I was actually gonna say between me and Brendan actually here, but I mean, if Brendan wants me to be the teacher, I'll be the teacher, but that's up to him.
I'm trying to think of how they do it in the show. Is the teacher someone who has a big part? Do you remember?
Well, in the first couple episodes that I saw, there was somebody who was introducing them to the school, like the principal, and he was just there saying, "Hey, all you students need to, work together. I see you guys are a bunch of waste of time, but if you work hard, you'll succeed," kind of thing.
Yeah, my only thought is that it probably makes sense for me to have a very small role. Not that I want to be the one who's capable of killing everything, but I almost think that in terms of a talking role, it should be about the students, and the teacher should be more in the background. So I could definitely do that. That way, Dan, you can actually converse more with the players.
Well, like if you went off of the second season where they went to the ruined city, he had a background role up until the train incident.
Yeah, and even then, it wasn't the forefront, I don't believe.
Well, up until the point that all the Grim appeared. I mean, at then he stepped forward and was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna pull some of this shit up."
Yeah. I think that's probably how I'll do it. So that'll be. I think I'll play the teacher, and then you can be like, "Do you want to be the most powerful of the students?"
I was thinking to be like a level 3, just for the fact that I was thinking to be an older student in a way.
Okay, so you're like junior.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, that would work.
All right, and then Joe, do you want to be level 1 or 2 or 3? It doesn't really matter.
Hang on. Level 1's fine. I get all of the brewing potion / creating grenade thing at level 1, so that's fine.
Okay. And then is there a certain night a week that works better for you guys? I mean, obviously for Dice&Decks as a channel, like Thursdays work pretty well, but
Thursdays work good for me because it's one of those off nights.
Yep.
okay. And then is once a month okay for now?
Yep.
Only maybe we'll do the session. We'll do session 1 in 2 or 3 weeks instead of a month, and then we'll do 1 month from there, or within a month from that next date.
I'm okay with that.
Okay. So I'll have to look at the calendar and figure out what works for me and post options. But I think Thursdays are still good, Thursday nights especially. And then do you guys have a timeline on how long you want to go for? Like if we start at 8:30 Central, is 2 hours good or?
Yeah, that's probably good.
Joe?
You know me. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, whatever.
Nice.
I'm pretty much the same.
And because you guys would never work past 8, right, Joe and Dan?
Correct.
Okay.
I never work best.
So the latest we'd start would be 8:30 then, or thereabouts, and we'd go for at least 2 hours, and then we'll see. We'll at the 2 hour mark, we'll see how everyone's doing, and then decide how much longer we're gonna go.
Cool.
And we'll kind of do that each time.
Yep.
Okay, so you guys will be in the first group. Can I just have the first initials of your guys' character's first name and last name separately? So like S space B or whatever. Dan? Okay. Oh, that's funny. Your initials are BA. I know we don't have Ty's character name, so I can't really do it yet, but I think Ty is going to be the fourth member of your guys' group as of right now. So I'll have to get that from him, but hopefully he picks a vowel for his first name. First letter of his first name.
So it can be like tabs or something.
Preferably an A, so that it can be vast.
Well, it's got to end up being a color.
Oh.
Or something that evokes color.
How
At
about
least
an
that's
E? Best.
Tomorrow morning is what I told her. Do you have Christopher's phone?
Or a U?
Yes.
Bust.
Is it charging?
there we go. That works out. Or a U for bust. That's
Yep.
funny. Well, if we do last names for the group name, we've got MIA right now.
Yeah, that gives you a lot more to work with.
Let's see. Because you've got RWBY. Here, I'm going to bring up the team names that they have. Web RWBY team names.
You have Ruby, Juniper,
Cardinal, Coffee, Sun. I think that's it. Oh, and Crow.
Yep.
Let's see.
If we had an A, we did first letters or first names, we could be Stab. That's a color, isn't it? Isn't that red? Blood.
All right, so let's see. it's 10:22 here, and it looks like they also have every team has somebody on the team whose name alludes to a shade of red. Ruby Rose, Pyronikos, Scarlet, Velvet Scarlatina, and Carden Winchester. So, do any of your guys' names have anything to do with the color red?
My last name doesn't, but I could change my last name. I like Tack as the first name, but I'm not married to the.
You're plus or minus on the last name?
Yeah.
Let's see. So, they already used Scarlet, Ruby, let's see, Velvet, and Cardinal. What's left? Crimson? Maroons?
Maroon would be good for M.
So, okay, so Dan's got Maroon.
Hang on.
Do you want to do something with... I mean, no one else has to, mind you. But if he's changing his last initial to an M, you should change yours to something that isn't M.
Yeah.
Well, I could do Blaine Crimson. That way Joe can keep the M.
I think Blaine Crimson sounds cooler than Blaine Maroon.
Yeah, Blaine Crimson sounds really cool.
Oh, and you're going to change the spelling even too, huh? Cool.
Although I do like the initials of BA.
Ictigo Indigo. Oh, shoot. Alright, so... I'm just looking at the letters here, trying to think of color. Hey, Oscar, how attached to the last name are you?
I'm not. I'm not attached to this whole name at all. It's just, something I threw out there.
Because if we can get someone's last name to be an R, whether that's Joe or you, we could do Cream, C-R-A-M.
Like Cram.
No, Creams. Like alluding to cream. It doesn't have to be all 5 letters.
I don't want to be anything. I don't want to be named Cream. That just. Oh my god.
Let's see. Alright, so we've got Blaine Crimson, BC.
How about Wine?
Well, we have an I. Yeah, we could do Wine if Dan changes his last name again.
What would we need?
We actually, right now, we need a W and an N.
Yep, and then I can just have Ty's character, his last name end with an E. Unless one of you want to use the E.
Doesn't have to start with an E.
I'll change my first name.
I can change my last name. It's not a big deal.
I want to use it based on either all first names or all last names, Dan.
Okay. Well, I'm not changing my last name.
Well, then we can't do Wine.
Hang on. How about Rust? We're almost there with first names if we do Rust.
Well, yeah, all we would need is either Dan to take the first name with an R or a U.
Name will be Rusty.
Rusty Crimson. We can't do Rusty if the name's gonna be Rust.
Yes, I could.
Russell.
That's not true, because Ruby.
I suppose.
Yeah, and then you could be the
Rusty Rust.
you could be the baddest. You could be the most badass character in the group.
I
Like
would be.
Ruby's the most badass in Ruby.
Yeah. I was planning on, being the badass of the
Well,
group.
you're level 3,
Okay.
but the others are level 1 anyways, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there we go. It's Rusty Crimson. And I almost said Blaine Maroon. No, that's not right. What's TM? Tack Monroe.
Yeah, I might change the last name, but let's see.
So that means that Ty has a really hard time coming up with a name now.
Yours is Ichigo Montoya. Is that right? I'm just kidding. What is yours, Kermit?
Sigu Ichi Tormi, I think. Something like that.
I'm scrolling back up to find it.
Probably just be like Ichigo.
Shugi Ichitormi.
Yeah.
Why did I think it was an I?
It is.
No, it's SHI.
It's because you put Tigo Indigo.
Oh yeah, that's what I thought. So Chigu, and then what was the last name? Michitormi. There we go. That looks good.
Ichi Tormi.
Ooh, maybe Tack Mall.
Tack Mall. Oh Jesus. I put Tack Murdoch. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so we got.
I don't know. I guess I do kind of like Monroe. Tack Monroe. That's what I'm gonna stick with it.
So how do we get Rust? We've got Rusty, Shigo, Tack, and then Ty's
Whoever.
character will be a U.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ty.
Apparently he's going to be Japanese. Team Rusty.
Rusty Rust.
That's actually really cool. And the funny part is the team name Rust is kind of like a reddish brown, anyways. So you've got Rust, Chugi Iktigo. I'm good with that.
Iktigo.
Iktigo.
I don't know. I'm trying for something Japanese sounding, and it's
You could
like a
do-
failure.
You could do Takadoshi.
Yeah, Brennan, I think I'm just going to go with just a straight melee character.
Straight melee. You don't want to do caster anymore?
No, I think I'm going to do kind of like a fighter class
Nice.
with like a cross over into like a Dragon Slayer class.
Okay.
Just for that added extra damage bonus, basically.
You like Utari? Utari? That's funny.
That should be
So-
Ty's name. Utari is
Utari.
a sweet name.
He wears Atari shirts all the time.
Are you kidding me? Utari is an awesome name. I love that name. It means patient.
I was just gonna say, you're on some kind of Japanese fucking naming site, aren't you?
Actually, no. I just I did names that begin with U, and this is the first website. And I was just scrolling through all the names.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah, Takadoshi, that's a last name that I made up. Well, I shouldn't say I made it up. It might actually be a real last name. But it's a name that I used when I was creating wrestlers back in SmackDown versus Raw 2001 or 4 or whatever the hell, I don't remember. I created a Japanese martial artist who like 9th degree black belt shit. I just always really liked the name. His first name was Utikaro. Utikaro. Yudikaru Takadoshi. Joel, that's not even the best on the N64.
Oh, it was.
No, WCW versus NWO Revenge. Look it up.
That's how we played WrestleMania 2000 in the dorms, like every night for a long ass time.
Yeah, WrestleMania 2000 was alright. If you never played WCW versus NWO Revenge, you've never played the best wrestling game of all time.
No, you can't take Ty's first name.
Yeah, don't take Shugi Utari. By the way, Joe, if you want to do a search really quick, see if Takadoshi exists as a last name.
How do you spell it?
Takadoshi. Takadoshi.
Takadoshi. There's Takatoshi with a T instead of a D, and that's a name. So if you change the D out to a T, it's a name, but
Yeah, I was actually going to ask the same question. How are we going to do the ability stats?
What do you mean, how are we going to do them?
roll them up.
You want to know, like, array or rolling?
Well, what's the rules in place for it?
What are you setting?
I would say that we can either do it with the 4, the 5, or the pool. And for Oscar, who has no idea what I'm talking about, I'll let them explain that.
So you roll 4 dice and you can re-roll. You pick the best 3. If you roll 5 dice, you pick the best 3, but you can't re-roll.
And when he says re-roll, it's 1 re-roll. So you can either roll all your stats with 4d6 and re-roll the lowest one, or you can do 5d6 for all of them and not re-roll any, or you can do a pool of, what is it, Joe, 26 dice?
Well, it was either that or 24.
Yeah, I can't remember which. I think it was 24. So you have a total of 24 d6s that you can roll between all 6 of your stats. So on average, you'd roll 4d6. But if you don't care about a particular stat, you can roll 1d6. Does that make sense? Oscar?
Yeah. Makes sense. It's just, yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, it's a legit thing. I don't remember where I found it, but it works out really well. It gives you stats similar to the elite array would, or even the standard array. It's just you have if you don't care about a stat or two completely, you can get really good stats for the stats you do care about guaranteed. So, like, let's say you wanted to use 10d6 for some reason, just to make sure that you got, your 18. Yeah, you can do that, but then you only have, 14d6 left for the other 5 stats. And the cool part is if one stat is pretty much a dump stat, you can roll that 1d6 in there. Or if you have another stat that you care about but not as much, you can roll 2 or 3d6 in that, and you can really build up how many d6 you can roll for the stats you do care about. I used it 3 times making characters, and I came up with some pretty nice stats that weren't ridiculous. If you want to try it just to see what you get for it, you can do that, and then decide if you'd rather do, 4d6 or 5d6.
Yeah.
So you said 24 dice.
Yeah, it's 24 dice.
All right. So
Another way that I could see someone doing it is if you're using like a dice roller program, or even the dice stream on here, which I don't recommend. I've heard it's bad. Um, just roll 24 virtual dice and then just add up the groups as you want them. So you already know what your numbers are all at once, and then you can just pick any, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 that you want for a particular stat, and just cross them off.
Okay.
Well, except for the fact that you could roll a lot of 6s in that and end up with, 3 or 4 stats that are 18s.
Well, that's the beauty of it. If you use a virtual roller, just take a screenshot, But I guess for me, I care about your stats in the sense that I don't want it to be all 18s in every category, because that's just not going to be fun for you or for the rest of the group. What I'm expecting to see would be something like, depending on what method you guys use, I'd expect to see something like 16, 17, 18 for at least one of the stats, and then the rest somewhere between 8 and 14 for the most part.
All right. I'm just re-referencing this. Okay, this is what I just rolled from 24d6 off of the Dungeons and Dragons dice roller. That's on Wizards.
Yep.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 6s.
Awesome.
And 1, 2, 3, 4 5s. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 4s. I mean, I only have 1 1 in that whole dice roll.
So write down your stats. Group them up and make it as best as you could.
I'm not going to use this. This sucks.
Because it's too good, or what?
Yeah, I mean, that's 8 6s. I could max 3 stats out right there.
Well, pretty much, yeah.
That's not fun.
Well, there you go. I agree. So roll until you get something you like.
Yeah, just keep rolling.
Well, I shouldn't say until you get something you like. Roll again, and if it's usable, use it. I've even had people. Yeah, I was gonna say I've even had people say to just let them make up their stats, and just give them a way to define, what you're thinking.
Yeah,
Are we all human?
This time I only got 6 6s, but it works for me.
Okay. Oscar?
Are we all human?
I don't think there are other races in.
Yes, there is.
What did I miss? Oh, you're talking the werewolf people?
Give me a second. I gotta look at what they're called.
Yeah, but
fawns.
Yeah, but you're referring to the werewolf people, right?
They're not really werewolves. It's difficult. They're animal people. They're humans with animal traits. Like there are cat people, there are bear people, there are bunny people.
Okay.
It's basically they have a minor trait of an animal.
There you go, Joe. See, so you got 2 dump stats.
Here, the most notable ones so far are cat, dog, rabbit, monkey, bull, and puma.
So basically the zodiac symbols, except for Puma.
Yeah, pretty. Well, you could. Just, I guess, other than dragon, you could go off of the chicken probably.
Why wouldn't you have a chicken person?
What on your body would you want to be of a chicken?
The nose? Duh.
The cloaca. I crap my own eggs.
I was actually thinking about doing a faunus character, like the monkey-based guy.
Nice. A simian?
Well, no, like Sun, the
Sun
blonde guy.
Wukong?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sun Wukong's a very famous Chinese character.
Mm-hmm. It's what
Like
Goku's based off of.
It's one that Goku's based off of?
Yeah, it's one
Yep.
Dragon Ball Z's Goku's based off of.
Yeah, Sun Wukong's pretty cool. I like his Dynasty Warriors character.
He's also a major player in League of Legends.
I just think it's
Wukong.
funny how there's so much crossover now between like fantasy characters and real life history characters, or even mythology. So fantasy, mythology, and real life.
Yeah, they're all kind of blending together now.
Like Smite, that one's funny. They're mixing all
Smite.
kinds of stuff in Smite. All right, well, I think we've got pretty much what we need. Joe, if you're good with those stats, I'm good with them.
I want to redo it actually, because I did dice rolls of 1 and 2, and I don't like it being that spread apart. So I'm redoing it right now. Right now I have an 8, 9, and a 13, and a 16. I have 2 more to roll. So I'll finish this one up, and I'll do it that way.
Okay.
I was testing the extremes the first time, and I'm like, that's a little bit too low. But
Yeah.
just give me just a second. I'm almost done with this one. I'll type it out for you in just a second.
Yeah, I recommend rolling 2d6 at least. Unless it's really a dump stat.
Yeah. Okay, this is much better. The funny thing is with that, the time I rolled 6 dice actually was my 4th lowest number.
Nice. So what? You're all done and getting ready to type it up now?
Yeah, I'm doing it right now.
Dan, what'd you end up with?
That's what I have.
That looks pretty good.
Yeah, I mean that's totally fine.
I'm working on it right now. Hang on.
I'm not maxed out on anything. I have 2 good stats, 2 relatively dumb stats, and 2 average. So that looks good to me. The roll that I rolled 6 dice, I get 2 4s, 2 3s, a 2, and a 1.
Can you just screen share that, Oscar? For some reason, the link's not working for me.
Yeah, let me see. Yeah, no wonder. That didn't work at all. Let's see. Try this link. See if this one works.
Nice.
Dan's always got to one-up me. Like your breakdown is almost exactly the same as mine. It's just like 1 or 2 higher on each stat.
Mine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you guys look at his picture? I think that's
Yeah.
pretty sweet.
That's cool looking. I think I'm gonna have a hard time finding an anime with a grenade launcher with Lennon glasses.
I actually think you might be surprised.
I typed in anime artwork with grenade launcher. That really doesn't come up with anything.
Joe, I'll give you a hand here. Hey Dan, I found your character's art.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, you want to see it? Hold on.
Sure.
Um, I mean, feel free to find something different, but I think this is pretty cool. There you go.
Yeah, that's sexy. Obviously the only thing I changed is probably his attire, but that's about it. I mean, yeah, that actually looks pretty good for shotgun aspect, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's got more of the rotating gun or the rotating bullets, but in all honesty, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I think that'll work for me, actually. I'm actually gonna.
It's funny because in the video game I play, Firefall, the heaviest tank, the alternate fire of his gun is a shotgun, and normally it's a Gatling gun, heavy plasma cannon. So it spits out like plasma bullets, but it can also shotgun blast them as an alt fire.
Brendan, you want the screenshot, by the way?
Screenshot of what your character's art?
No, the dice roll.
Oh no, that's fine, man.
Okay.
Seems
I
legit.
did post my stats there. I just gotta figure out.
The only thing that sucks with my weapon, and unless Brendan, you want to rule it a little bit differently. Alchemist's stats are supposed to be primary ability is intelligence, then saving throw proficiency is intelligence and dexterity. A flail is a strength weapon. What would a grenade launcher be under? Is that dexterity weapon? Or could I use strength to govern the grenade launcher shot as well? It's a bit more of a heavy duty weapon. I don't know. But then as far as like throwing grenades themselves, is that dex or strength?
If you throw grenades, that's dex.
Well, if you throw them, it's strength. Because they're big and heavy.
I guess I'm
Great
thinking
enough.
dex. I guess I'm thinking dex for the aiming because grenade in my head a regular grenade isn't that heavy.
Shoot, make an intelligence. He uses his brain to aim.
Yeah, I'm having trouble deciding where my stats are going.
Yeah, the M67 grenade is 6.5 ounces. Oh, the M67 weighs 14 ounces.
Which
So
is
it's a
like
pound.
Yep.
I would say more dexterous than
Yeah.
strength.
Yeah, but a flail is strength, which sucks.
I'm really having trouble here deciding on where these stats are going.
Yeah, because right now I have to have strength at 16, dex at 16, I have endurance at 13, and intelligence at 11, and then wisdom is 9 and charisma is 8.
Well, you're gonna be a dumb motherfucker. Just kidding. Ah, shit.
Well, I'm not entirely sure where to. I mean, 18 is obviously probably going to be my strength. 17, I'm thinking.
If you're a tank, it should be your con.
Constitution.
Hey, Joe.
Yep.
Do you care about your skin shade?
Nope.
Sweet. I got the perfect art for you then.
Didn't you say your character was blue?
No.
That was in D&D.
Yeah. My Incarnum is blue.
Incarnum. There's a name. There's a word I hadn't heard.
Alright, Joe. Here's your character art if you like it.
That's awesome. Oh, that's funny.
What do you think?
Dun 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 dun.
He's got glasses on. They're not quite John Lennon glasses, but that's pretty funny.
It's
That's
not a
what I would-
glass, that's an eye patch.
Oh, I suppose it is. I guess I couldn't see the other thing.
It's Team Fortress.
Hey, you know what? It's actually probably a really accurate depiction. The only thing is you'd have to change the eye patch to John Lennon glasses, but that's the closest I could find to something with glasses, with a grenade launcher that looked in anime style.
Dude, I'm almost thinking that's Barrett before he lost his arm.
Oh, no. Barrett, before he lost his arm, they show him in the video game with his arms.
With his actual arm?
Yeah. Either that or it was the animated movie. I don't remember. One of the two.
I know it wasn't the animated movie because that's the one where he's got the freaking 3-prong Gatling gun fucking arm. I can't remember what it's called. I don't think the game actually showed him with his actual arm though.
Yes, it did.
Maybe it was one of the cutscenes. I can't remember. It's been a while. I'll have to hook it up again and play it again.
You know they're releasing it for PS4, right?
You know they did a PC version that's the equivalent, right? And you also know that they're not remastering it or anything. It is the same graphics.
Yeah, that's fine. Just to be able to play it on a current day system is cool.
Play it on PC. It's $10.
Play it on your mom. She's $10. I'm just kidding.
I actually bought the PC download of 7 and 8. So
Okay, so they don't show him with the hand. It doesn't look like. What they show him with is the metal glove. It's just a regular fist, but they do show that in the movie. That's where they show that.
yeah, but that's his fake arm.
Yep.
See, dude, I literally just watched that movie like 2 days ago, so I knew it wasn't that.
I just like how it's basically a pipe drain bolted onto his arm with 6 gun holes.
That
For his
worked.
basic gun. Oh shit. Well, I think that's everything we need to take care of. Oh, what's this? Nice.
What about armor and stuff? Are we looking into that, or?
You guys can either start with what your artwork shows, or buy stuff separately. If you buy it separately, it comes out of your money. And as far as your starting wealth, it'll be just how it is in 5th edition.
So I couldn't be a dust tycoon like Whitney.
Your family can be. And then you can ask them for favors.
I only get light armor. Boo.
I can use it all.
You can shoot grenades, though, Joe.
Yeah. The equipment, it says, for the alchemist, says you start with the following equipment in addition to the equipment granted by your background. Apparently, I get a portable alchemical laboratory, any simple weapon, an alchemist backpack, or brawler's pack, leather armor, and an alchemist pack.
Be a dwarf. You get a +2 to your strength and a +2 to your con, and you'll get medium armor proficiency. Just reskin it.
Here is a question actually for me. My sword. Can I classify it as a bastard sword?
The sword on the gun, you mean?
Oh, if it's...
I don't think there's a bastard sword in 5th edition.
There isn't one?
I think it was reclassified to be the hand and a half longsword.
It's effectively the same thing, Dan. Though hand and a half longsword.
Yeah, but what I'm getting at is, the sword that I designed was loosely based off of the Buster sword. I mean, it's a different, designing of it, but based off of the Buster sword, he used it one-handed and two-handed, so that's why I was saying, can I classify it as a hand and a half weapon?
Yeah, that's fine. That exists in 5e, so that's fine.
Okay.
Now, that doesn't mean you can dual wield them, of course.
Well, unless, of course, I have exotic weapon.
No such thing.
They eliminated that in this one?
Yep, there are no exotic weapons. Even weapons that you custom craft out of nothing is still, you're either proficient in it because you created it, or no one's proficient in it, and it's just base stats.
And they did that because there isn't the feat thing.
Yeah, there's not
unless you choose there to be feats. Yeah. And that makes sense. I mean, you're building your character. You should be able to start off how you want. It's part of the reason why in 5e you feel more powerful at low levels. Yeah.
The weird thing is that they actually clarify that the Weapon Master feat that grants 4 weapon proficiencies is only good with simple and martial weapons, because there is no exotics.
That's funny. Yeah, I just started reading up on all the 5e stuff a couple weeks ago, and I think I get most of it. I mean, it's not like it's hard. It's just I want to make sure that I understand it. So we'll see how I do. My
major issue with 5th is that I want it to be 3rd edition, and it's not. It's 5th edition, and there is stuff in there that you expect it to go one way, and it goes a different way, and you're like, wow, that's different from this edition, or this edition, or this edition. Well, the good news is this is going to be modded 5, so I'll probably end up bringing some 3.5 stuff in because that's what I'm most familiar with, and I do like there to be options. 5e gives you the ability to create all the options, but if you'd rather just change how it works from 3.5 to 5, like on the fly, and 3.5 well enough, it'll be a lot easier to do than trying to create it from scratch, and hope you get it right. I guess, I don't know. I just like to have a starting point if I'm going to be modding stuff.
So if you guys have anything you want me to bring in from 3.5 in particular, let me know and we can try to figure it out. But right now, I want to keep it as simple as possible to start.
Can I change my character up and be a magic user and cast Bellfire?
Negative.
Damn it. Okay, never mind then.
Um,
That's the only thing I want to do.
I was saying I wanted to do like a crossbreed between the fighter class and the Dragon Slayer class, but I don't think 5 has the Dragon Slayer class.
It does not.
You can create pretty much anything. I guess don't focus on the name so much as try to figure out what you're wanting to do and see if 5e lets you do it.
What was
They
the
might just
Dragon
have it
Slayer
be.
class?
But
What was the Dragon Slayer class?
it was they got a bunch of bonuses to like damage reduction, improved critical, aura of courage, damage bonus, spell resistance.
Sounds like a fighter paladin mix.
Yeah, it kind of was actually, but the only difference was it only took like one divinity thing, but the rest of it was like basically to be a better tank up against dragons and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I was more or less going for the elemental resistance part of it and the damage increase.
Well, what you'll do is you'll pick one element if you decide to do it, and you can take 50% damage from that element.
Well, actually, the ability from it was energy resistance, which was it covered more than just one element, is what I was thinking.
In order to bring it to RWBY/5e, I think I'd have to parse it down a little bit and have it be just one element at 50%.
But if it was more like all but one element at like a certain percent, and that one element was the only weakness.
In 5th, you have resistance, which is you take half damage, or you have immunity, you take no damage, or you have nothing and you take all damage. There is no there's no yeah. Well, there is still vulnerability when you take double damage.
So
it's not, you can't have like 75% damage or anything like that.
yeah, I think what I would have you do, Dan, is if you're wanting it from 3, is it would only be 20% probably. And then it would be double damage from the last one.
Or it's half damage and everything's normal then.
Yeah, half damage from one and then everything's normal.
Okay. I'll decide on that later. I'll let you know.
Okay. I think I'd call it near immunity. And that'd be the 25% level. Hell, you could even have something be, if you really wanted to go crazy, you could even have something be affinity for it, where it heals you when you're hit by it, but then you'd have double damage from 2 of the elements. And then I'll just make sure we never fight the thing that heals you. I'm just kidding. Well, I think that's it. Unless you guys have anything else.
No, I'm good.
Dan?
No, I'm good. I'm just,
Oscar?
I think I can work with this.
If you think of anything else, you can either post to me in a message, or you can post it on Dice&Decks, and we'll see if we can answer for you.
Okay.
All right, guys. Dice&Decks signing off.
I will see you in 2 weeks.
Sounds good. Bye.